Hey there, We Can't Wrestle podcast listeners. If you haven't noticed, we have switched our server to Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So go ahead, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Highly recommended by me and everybody else here at the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. All three Stooges are here with you this time around, Nate, Aaron, and Kyle, and we have an action-packed episode of the show. We're going to be reviewing AWA WrestleRock 86, so that's going to be fun. We're also all going to be presenting to you I have a couple of what we would call probably unpopular opinions that we have in pro wrestling, and rounding out the show, we'll discuss some of our favorite musical artists. I kind of made, when you came up with that, I kind of made a couple of lists because I wasn't sure. I started thinking about it. I was like, by artists, do we mean just in general bands, soloists, et cetera, et cetera? So I wasn't sure exactly. I should have got some clarity on that, I guess.
Whatever. We'll go with whatever you guys want to go with.
All right. That works for me.
However.
And other than that, before we start talking about WrestleRock, I do want to... unfortunately, discuss the passing of Silver King this past weekend. Kind of a sad state of affairs. He was always one of my favorite mid-card luchadors in WCW. Had some great work in CMLL and AAA. And what I wanted to say, and I don't know if you guys saw any of the video, I'm actually kind of disgusted with that promotion, the terrible referee they had, and the unbelievable unprofessionalism of Juventud Guerrera in the situation. And here's why I say that. First of all, the referee just stands there like a fucking idiot. Does nothing, cues to nobody, nothing. And the reason I say that, even though obviously it was an accident that Silver King had a heart attack during the match, Juventud Guerrera's been wrestling for, over 20 years? You don't think he can feel that something like that is going on, in the match? Like, this guy has just stopped. You know what I'm saying? And then he just continued. He pinned him, and he kept celebrating in the ring, and I don't know. I just found it to be kind of disgusting, really. Kind of shitting on Hoovy here, but, I mean, I didn't... I thought it was very classless what he did.
I think it's also classless. The fact is that you because of course as soon as you tell me hey man, he passed away, it was like, fuck, all right. So I go look up information on it, and of course there's fucking video of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah. That is the age that we live in. Everything's on fucking cell phone video now.
We don't need to see that. I'm sorry. It's disgusting.
But what I will say is, if you want to look at some good Silver King, I put up one of my favorite Silver King matches with Chris Jericho from a Nitro on the in the We Can't Wrestle Facebook group last night.
I was so choked up about it, I forgot to write down my unpopular opinions. So
I'm sure you
skip mine.
What's that?
We'll have to skip mine.
Or I'm sure you can think of something, one unpopular opinion you have.
Instead of that, I'm gonna give my stupid gimmicks.
Oh, you have some gimmicks. That's right. I forgot about that. That's also on the lineup.
We'll talk about you guys' unpopular opinions and why they're wrong, and then I'll do my gimmicks.
So, do either one of you gentlemen have anything before we dive into 1986 AWA?
Well, actually, I got a tweet here from Toots Mont.
Oh, Toots tweets. I thought he was dead.
No, unfortunately, he's not. Just the career of Juventud Guerrero.
Yeah, that died a long time ago.
Yeah.
The Jews.
No.
And he was never in the WWE, by the way.
No. Well, especially now.
Go ahead with the Toots tweet there.
But apparently, he says, I understand that Goldberg is going to be in Saudi Arabia. A Jew in the Middle East. What could possibly go wrong?
They're all going to watch his match with their backs turned to it. And I don't think anybody here will be watching that match anyway, because I don't watch those fucking shows.
I don't either, but I would nowadays watch a lot of Goldberg matches with my back to it. Not because he's a Jew, just because he sucks. I guess that would be my unpopular opinion, eh?
The Goldberg sucks.
Goldberg sucks.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't get much support on that one.
Sting is not getting $100 from me. Motherfucker.
Oh.
His fucking
A friend of mine said he's giving Sting $100. I said, "Fuck that noise. Do not give Sting $100." He's like, "But I really want to meet Sting." I'm like, Sting is boring. I like Sting the wrestler, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I hate his music.
Steve Borden the man is boring. And he's not a wrestling fan, okay? Like, he didn't get into wrestling because he was a wrestling fan. He got into wrestling because somebody spotted him and they gave him a job and they trained him and whatever. But he's boring. And he's not, as a human being, like, you're like, "Hey, Sting, tell us about a cool road story." Well, one day I had a match with Ric Flair, and then I went to the Denny's, and then I went back to the hotel, and I had a good night's sleep. Yeah. You were boring.
I watched Tom Brokaw and went to sleep.
And night court, and I took a nap. You were boring, Sting.
Tell you what, I love that bull.
And he's not funny. Like, you can be boring but be funny, but you can't be boring and unfunny. You can't be both. Like Ole Anderson is a boring man, okay? Like, he lived a boring life.
But his crotchetiness is funny.
Yeah, but he's funny as hell, you know? Like, just the assholeian things he says are funny.
If you ever get a chance, I forget what.
Have you ever watched any kind of shoot thing or anything with Sting? Fucking boring.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I've never watched the whole thing. I've watched clips.
Because it's fucking boring.
If you guys ever...
This horrible fucking... what was that horrible fucking TNA...
I didn't watch TNA, so I don't know.
What was that, Kyle?
That horrible TNA retrospective, like, Moment of Truth.
Oh, yeah, I never saw it.
Yeah, no one else did either. That was the fucking problem.
If you ever want to laugh at crotchety Ole Anderson, yeah, I said it right. If you ever want to laugh at crotchety Ole Anderson, look up, there was an interview he did on Wrestling Observer Radio with Dave Meltzer. Listening to Dave Meltzer and Ole Anderson do an interview is hilarious because Dave will ask him a question, and like with every question, you know, just like Dave's like, "Well, you know, back in '86, you and Dusty, blah 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 blah," and after every question, Ole's like, "You see, that's the problem. You have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know anything. You've been writing this rag for..." I mean, he's just like, every question Dave asks him, like, "See, that's the problem. You don't know anything. You think you know everything, but you don't know anything." It's fucking hilarious. It's like an hour of that. It's just an hour of Ole Anderson shitting on Dave Meltzer.
And Dave Meltzer takes it. It's probably because it's funny, and 2, it's Ole Anderson.
If you read my book, you might learn something.
I like that shit where Jim Cornette says he walked into that territory and was like, "You guys got to stop this. Stop what? All of it. It's fucking horrible. Stop." Like, not a particular angle.
Just the whole thing.
All of it.
We need a new name.
Trash.
I brought these 30 guys. That's your new roster. Fuck this place. All right, so AWA WrestleRock 86. And ladies and gentlemen, it is available on the WWE Network.
Folks know this is not like a watch-along. We're not doing that.
No. We're just reviewing the pay-per-view or mega show or whatever it was. I don't believe it was even on pay-per-view. And
it was, but then fucking everyone demanded their money back.
The show took place April 20th, 1986. Probably because you'd have to be high to really like it. Actually did 23,000 in the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. What's that?
All at once.
What?
It didn't do 2,300 people or 23,000 people like all at once.
Oh, no.
They gradually started showing up.
And I was going to save this till the end, but I'm just going to say it now. If you watch the end of the show, when that main event ends, those people leave that arena like somebody turned the goddamn fire alarm on. Like, they're gone.
What did you say? Hang on. What did you say that the crowd was that night?
23,000.
Yeah, because they have for fucking American football, the capacity is 64,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can definitely tell.
So let's not act like.
Yeah, they probably could have done this show in your local sports arena and been all right. But so we have.
At first, I gotta say though, when this show first started, for maybe about, you gotta remember, like watching it, like the visual of it. My first thought was, man, Gary Michael Capetta has a wonderful lady singing voice.
Damn it, you stole my joke. I have right here Gary Michael Capetta singing a stirring rendition of the national anthem.
In his lady singing voice.
Did you notice that, Kyle, at the beginning?
Yes. Oh, it was so fucking bad.
It was funny. And like on the network, like I think that's like the first.
Didn't even clean it up.
No, on the network, like when you hit play, that's the first thing you see.
Yeah, it's Gary Michael singing like a lady. Like there's no introduction or anything.
But yeah, I have the same thing here. I had that written down as well. So we start the event off with Brad Riggins, or Ringans, or however you say the guy's name. I always say Regans, but I think it's actually Ringans. What?
It depends on where you're at.
Like kind of like Hennig.
Like Mike Rotundo and
Hennig.
Kurt Hennig.
Well, I say Brad Riggins, and he defeated Boris Zukov. And what? It wasn't a terrible match.
Yeah, like Zukov had like a Chiquita banana sticker on his forehead. And like a Mongol haircut. It's like, what's going on?
Well, the thing that I wrote down about that match was the match wasn't bad, but fuck Ron Trongard.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows me knows I have an unbridled, passionate hatred for Ron Trongard and his big afro.
I've given him the nickname Ron Garbage Fire Trongard.
It's pretty fucking close. Maybe a dumpster fire, but I hate that fucking guy. Like, I watched some of those old like WWF stuff from when he went there in 87, 88. And I just hate even the fact that when they get the long shot of the ring that I can see the back of his big stupid fro head.
His big perm.
I hate that fucking guy. Anyway, hey Kyle.
Yes.
Did you pick up on the fact that I hate Ron Trongard yet, or?
Oh, I got it.
He got his big perm and his pinky rings.
Yeah.
You're not Gorilla Monsoon. You're that pinky ring.
You're not even Chimpanzee Monsoon, you fuck. So anyway, anything else on Zukov and Riggins here?
No.
Brad Riggins apparently a badass trainer, by the way. Trained a lot of.
Riggins is a badass human being and was actually very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's the fact that, like, you know, he wasn't the tallest guy in the world and he couldn't talk.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, the match didn't offend me. It wasn't terrible. And Riggins defeats Boris Zukov.
And the place is starting to fill up. And then I have one question, and I'm going to ask this question quite a bit throughout the show about multiple different people. They introduce a man, and I want to know who the fuck is Gary Lumpkin?
Wasn't that like a local? I don't have it written down. Wasn't that one of the local?
I don't know. They're just introducing these random people throughout the show. So who the fuck is Gary Lumpkin?
The next thing I have written down on my notes is Little Mr. T? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
That's the Haiti kid.
I know, but Little Mr. T, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Little Tokyo, Little Lord, Little Brook, Little Mr. T, and Cowboy Lang, who Ric Flair said had a big old dong.
And actually, Cowboy Lang, for one of the midget wrestlers back in that group of midget wrestlers back in the day, was actually pretty damn good, really. But, yeah, the Little Mr. T thing.
And then during this match, for absolutely no reason, some laser sound effect goes off. Anybody else notice that?
Yes.
Like, I thought, oh man, that has something to do with something later on, you know, and they accidentally hit the wrong button or something. But there's nothing later on that has anything to do with a laser effect. The match is just going on. It's like,
Larry Nelson was doing a line of coke off the soundboard.
Yeah.
Are you ready, people?
And you know what's funny? This is the second best match on the show.
It actually is. I wrote down here. Also, not a bad match.
Yeah. It's a little short.
But what'd you think of the midgets there, Kyle?
Of course.
I'm sorry, I'm talking like we're doing a show in the 80s. I'm not allowed to say that.
No, professional wrestling is still the only place like it's acceptable
to say midgets.
to say midgets. Like when you go to an independent show, they don't go, the following match is a little person match or a dwarf match. The guy just stands up in front of everybody and goes, "Yo, it's a midget match."
I think Hornswoggle,
like, yeah.
I think Hornswoggle said it best. He's like, you put fucking little person wrestling on the fucking marquee, it ain't selling. You put midget wrestling on, and it fucking sells out. So
Exactly.
I don't know if it sells out, but
fucking people like the midget wrestling.
It's a fun attraction.
yeah,
It is. It's a you know, and of course they would have it here on the WrestleRock or on.
Yes. And did you?
As soon as they come out, I was like, oh, fucking of course.
Little Mr. T, I can't get over it.
But
Gary Michael Capetta also starts to introduce Little Tokyo as being from Chicago, Illinois. Like he's reading the wrong card. He like starts introducing him under little Mr. T's shit. Because he's like from Chicago, Illinois, and like he looks at like Little Tokyo and he's like, "I'm sorry, from Tokyo, Japan." And he fucks up. He probably did a bump with Larry Nelson.
The next match wasn't good.
Well, here's what I wanted to say real quick.
Oh, sure.
But unfortunately, you only have one person who can say it. But how pissed off do you think Brad Riggins and fucking Boris Zukov are? They're like, we went out before the goddamn midgets.
For the goddamn midgets. I'm Brad Riggins, goddammit.
I wouldn't want to follow them midgets. They had the best match on the show.
So how about Colonel De Beers and Wahoo McDaniel?
about it?
How about it? I thought it was garbage.
It was. The Bears. The Bears is trash. I hate that guy.
Yeah. It's a stupid gimmick. He's got a stupid face and a stupid mustache. And I don't know how he got so much heat in Minnesota where everybody's fucking white anyway. I don't know. I don't get it.
The Bears.
The Bears.
So Wahoo just chops the beers, and that's pretty much the match for 5 minutes.
He chops the Bears, and then after he goes and puts down the Bears.
Yes, which that probably would have been much cooler to experience drinking some beers with Wahoo than watching him wrestle Colonel De Beers. So that was an abortion. Anything else on that?
Nope.
The next note I have on my sheet here is Buck Zumhoff, yuck.
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
First off, one of them is, who the fuck is Chuck LeGrand?
Oh yeah, they do another one of those introduction things.
Yes. And then
there's go ahead.
The AWA tried to say this was almost akin to WrestleMania 2 at the time. Yeah. And that they drew more people than the Crockett Cups combined, which they really did. But that doesn't mean it was good. And then before the human piece of fucking garbage Buck Zumhoff comes out, I have another question. Who the fuck is Paul Gill?
WrestleRock, the show of who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Who the fuck is that?
And then there's like, before Zumhoff does his garbage promo or whatever,
He does
there's
can't
like
even
this.
understand what's that going on in that promo.
And then and then if you notice, they have like the camera, and there's like an awkward, like AWA had terrible production for this thing. Like there's an awkward thing where you see like Larry Nelson or not Larry Nelson, but other mustache guy,
Ken Resnick.
Ken Resnick, and Zumhoff standing down there, but they're like preparing to do their promo. And it's awkward because Zumhoff's like standing, then he's sitting, then they're talking. Like you can hear them talking about their promo, and then they introduce that.
There and they just fucking ruin it. Like, you can't understand a word he's saying. Any of them are saying. The music's terrible. Like why do you have a boombox next to a giant metal microphone? It's not gonna work, Buck Zumhoff. And could they have not found a worse opponent for Tiger Mask?
Yeah, exactly. Like
why is this man wrestling Tiger Mask? Why? Why is this fucking happening?
Vern Gagne was like, "We have a great idea for you to wrestle here tonight. His name's Buck Zumhoff."
like, even if you didn't know what type of person Buck Zumhoff was, because back then,
if you didn't know what type of person he is, you know what type of wrestler he is.
Yeah, this is trash. Like Tiger Mask is in, I don't know. God damn it, just makes me mad. Like, why wouldn't you like bring in like Hector Guerrero or something other than this?
It's like building up. I equate it to building up Kurt Hennig going into WrestleMania 6, and then he has a match with Brutus Beefcake.
Yeah. Or hey, we're gonna bring over I don't know. Like the WWE's like, we're gonna bring over the Great Muta. Finally, the Great Muta is coming. Yeah? Who's he gonna fight? He's gonna fight Mojo Rawley. You fucking serious?
At WrestleMania.
That's bullshit.
Actually,
the less you talk about this, the better.
All right, moving on then. Because Tiger Mask beats Zumhoff. Now we talk about, you know what? I don't understand. I never understood Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham. Boring. They were boring in the WWE. And I like Barry Windham, and I like Mike Rotunda as a heel, IRS, but I do not like those two together. I don't know. Like, Rotunda like sucks the charisma out of Barry Windham. But they're going to be in a tag match next, and AWA is so desperate for business. They're like 3 times they refer to these guys. You were just the WWF Tag Team Champions.
Yeah. And they fight the Fabulous Ones, and it's a good match.
Yes, it is.
Steve Kern gets caught popping the birds of the crowd. And getting introduced and fucking flips them off.
And there's speaking of their production.
Honestly, this is probably the best match on the show.
I agree. The Harley Race Martel match was good too. But
yeah, it was as good as this.
Anything on this one, Kyle?
No, not really. At this point, I'm fucking like, God damn, this is fucking ridiculous.
It was hard. It was hard to watch this. Like,
it was at this point, you're just like, fuck.
Well, it's your fault, Kyle.
You put it in there. We had this conversation before. Y'all fucking blame me, but you're the one who fucking put it in there.
So now we move on to what is not a good match.
Oh my God. This is the worst match on the show.
Giant Baba and Bulldog Bob Brown. And this is what I was
going to... question of, like, who the fuck? It's like, hey, Baba, we're going to have you fight Bulldog Bob Brown.
This is another thing where I was going to say the production of the show was terrible because they have the show poorly mic'd. Because there's a guy in the audience that during this match and then during the Kamala match, the Slaughter Kamala match, you can hear him like the whole, like, but they're introducing this guy. Obviously is a big Bob Brown mark too, because you hear this guy yelling at Bob Brown, the Central States champion. Bob Brown's gonna fuck you up, Baba. Bob Brown's the Central States champion. So the loudest, drunkest fuck in the arena was mic'd, apparently, at this show. I don't know if you guys noticed him or not, but
yeah, his name was Larry Nelson.
Look how Baron Von Roski. Bob Brown's the Central States champion.
Fuck him up.
So Giant Baba beats Bulldog Bob Brown in this garbage match.
Match sucked a dick.
I've probably
3 stars.
I've probably seen, I don't know, in my life, I've probably taken the time to watch 4 or 5 entire Giant Baba matches, and I've never been entertained by one of them. Apparently a really great promoter and a good guy, but
That's wonderful.
Not a fan of Giant Baba. Not just, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have watched more of his shit than I have, but
nope. Can't say that I have. I haven't hated myself that much.
So
next, again, I got the
fuck is Dick Jazanowski? Jazanowski or whoever this guy is.
Is this the one? Is this the?
I don't know who these people are.
Well, there's one match where they introduce like this radio guy from Minneapolis that does ring introductions, and he's terrible. I can't remember which match it was though.
It might be this one.
But we have a pretty good match between Harley Race and Rick Martel that ends in a double count out. Not a lot to say about the match. I mean, it was as good as you would expect from 2 real pros like Race and Martel. I don't know if you guys have anything else on it, but I mean, you know, Harley's perm was looking great.
Oh, yes, it was.
It's nice to see a match where like 2 wrestlers don't look exactly alike.
Yeah.
And they're not like the same age and came from like the same school.
Mm-hmm.
So they only know how to wrestle each other.
They but yeah, like I said, I don't know. I think your probably right, Aaron, that Wyndham and Rotunda's tag match was the best. That was probably the best match, but I actually, like I said, I think I enjoyed this match better, personally.
Yeah.
Anything on this one, Kyle?
Nope.
And up next, coming to the WrestleRock Rumble 86, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Lady Cop Battle Royal. Bring out all the Lady Cops. From the 1980s, Ladies Cops.
I had to go back to Wikipedia. I had to go into Wikipedia to look at because I didn't remember who all the participants were, but just for the listeners, we'll run it down here. Sherry Martel wins this battle royal that also involves Luna Vachon, Joyce Grable,
who I think he introduces as Lorraine Vachon when she gets in the ring.
I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and
he says Lorraine Vachon.
Kat LaRue.
Lash LaRue's mother.
Rose Divine. Rose Not So Divine. Taylor Thomas. Despina Montagas. Misty Blue Sims. Debbie Combs. And Candy Divine. In a 10-woman women's battle royal.
Ladies Cop Battle Royal.
Sherry wins it.
These people is a man named Stu Voigt, and I only have one question: who the fuck is Steve? Fuck is that guy?
It's funny.
Martel pulls a Bobby Heenan on this thing too. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad for what it was. Cool, kind of seeing a young Luna Vachon out there. I always liked Luna Vachon.
And at the end of the Battle Royal, we actually get to see, of all AWA that I've ever watched, which I have to admit isn't a ton, but of all the AWA I've ever watched, my favorite act in the history of the AWA is Sherry Martel, Buddy Rose, and Doug Summers.
Yeah, that's what. Like I'm watching that, and you know what? Why not have like Playboy Buddy fight Tiger Mask?
Right. Well, actually,
Summers fight Tiger Mask.
The funny thing is, though, if you look at
like I think Mr. Electricity Steven Regal was there at the time. Why not have Steven Regal fight him? This was I like out of everything I saw on this show, I'm like, why the fuck is this happening? Like if I was Tiger Mask, I would have been like Rock-Roo and just laughed.
I don't know why, because I just looked this up on, like I said, I looked it up on Wikipedia to see who the participants in the Battle Royal were, because I couldn't remember all the names. And apparently, and this isn't on the WWE Network thing, apparently there was also a match at the show with Rose and Summers against the Rockers. But it is not on this show that I watched. Because it says between the De Beers Wahoo match and that crappy-ass Tiger Mask Buck Zumhoff thing, Buddy Rose and Doug Summers defeated the Midnight Rockers.
Okay, well, I guess that explains why it wasn't one of those guys, but still. That Tiger Mask thing's fucking
bullshit.
Yeah, we need to research this.
So now we move along to Sergeant Slaughter defending the AWA America's Championship against Kamala, who is escorted to the ring by, of course, Skandor Akbar. Or no, is it?
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's Skandor Akbar.
Yeah.
The worst, like, I like the guy, but, like, worst Arab guy ever. He didn't even try.
Yeah.
He put on a hat and was like, "Hey, how you doing?"
I'm from Arabia. It's not even called Arabia. That's all right. I'm General Skandor Akbar. Didn't even try.
and as Kamala is walking to the ring,
that guy
he says, "Go back to Africa."
Yes, that's the same guy that's yelling at Bulldog Bob Brown about being the Central States champion.
So he says, "Go back to Africa." And then another guy pops out and starts smacking his belly and goes, "Good luck, Sugar Bear Harris." And I was like, I like that guy. That was fun. But I would like to go back to Africa guy, but when that dude jumped out and started smacking his belly and said, "Good luck, Sugar Bear Harris."
Well, if you notice, they had to bleep the one guy because when Slaughter comes out, he says, "Fuck him up, Slaughter." It was like, "Boop him up, Slaughter." That fucking drunk dude is like the highlight of the night.
This guy's like ECW. ECW fan.
So Slaughter defeats Kamala by DQ. Not a very good match.
No, this was not a very good match. But out of everything you'd seen so far, this got like the people going.
Mm-hmm.
Like people were into this shit. They were into Slaughter. They want to see Slaughter kick Kamala's ass. Like, they were up for this thing.
And send him back to Africa.
And then Sergeant Slaughter has a rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance, correct? Yes.
Yes, with a group of kids.
And that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, who the fuck are those kids?
I am also currently, and this is off topic, but I am also currently watching in 1992 wrestling at this point. And do you know one of the most awkward things in the entire world I've ever seen? And I don't remember seeing it when it happened live. I probably did, but as a 40-year-old, one of the most awkward things I've ever seen is on an episode of Superstars in 92. Gene Okerlund does an interview with the Ultimate Warrior with a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Very awkward. Like the kids are all excited to be there with the Ultimate Warrior, but the Ultimate Warrior is obviously not excited to be with the kids. And it's just awkward. Like, he's like, "You're my little warriors. I have much disdain for you." But anyway, that's off topic. So, and he was an asshole. We all know that. So Slaughter and Kamala went down in the next match in the show, AWA World Tag Team Championship match. Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig defending against an underrated tag team, the Irwins, the Long Riders. When Scott was alive and Scott and Bill were together, they were fucking awesome. They were like rowdy. They were really good Texas heels.
I'm completely on the other side of that.
Really, I really like them together. I don't like much of Bill's career after Scott died, but I like that tag team.
When I see these guys, I'm like, you make the Jayhawks look like the wrestler.
Oh my god!
You guys are fucking trash. Just fucking trash.
I hate the Jayhawks, so that's really funny. Whew.
Trash.
Like, I guess we differ on that one. Oof.
Yeah. And Scott Pornstash Hall got an awesome trophy at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just kind of an afterthought thing. Like, here's your trophy, now wrestle.
Yeah. You got it from some like Goomba looking guy in like black shades and shit. Yeah, it was all right.
From some wrestling magazine that like 7 people subscribe to.
Yeah.
It's like, All-Star Wrestling Review has named Scott Hall the Wrestler of the Year.
It's just littered with like typos, people's names wrong, and
yeah, Colonel DeBars.
Yeah,
Colonel DeBars in this event defeated Wahoo McDaniel by disqualification, or McDaniels. Can't figure out if it's ever Wahoo McDaniel or McDaniels. By the way. Yeah. That's one of the biggest mysteries of wrestling. And the reason I don't know is because the wrestlers, half the wrestlers called him McDaniel and half the wrestlers called him McDaniels. And then back in the day, the guys that ran the things that run your name across the screen always misspelled shit. So half of that time it says McDaniel and McDaniels. So I have no idea what that dude's fucking real last name was. Anyway.
So I have to give this thing 2 stars because I can't like give anything that involves like Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig anything less. But if it wasn't for them, this match would just
be butt.
Yeah.
Anything else on that one, guys?
fucked Scott Irwin in his big blue diaper.
Oh shit.
I shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but that's just how it is.
So next is Larry Zbyszko against this guy Scott Ledoux.
Ledeuce.
Ledux or Ledeuce in a boxing match.
Which,
At
why
first-
the fuck? Like, professional wrestling was always like, let's have a boxing match. It's like, no.
People came here to see
If you
professional
wanted to see
wrestling.
boxing, they would have wanted to watch boxing. Like, you were gonna have a boxing match, and they're like, these guys are gonna wrestle.
This is the heyday of fucking like Tyson and shit. Like, if I want to watch boxing, I'll watch that.
Zbyszko always did garbage like that in AWA though. Like he'd do some martial arts thing or
I liked Go Ninja, Go with the Ninja, and all. Like, I'm all about Larry Zbyszko, and he was entertaining in this for the most part. But I don't want to see a boxing match. Like, they could have done this.
I'm gonna be
Scott Ledeuce or whatever was like a referee, all this other shit or whatever. They wanted to get around it, but they could have just had it be something else.
I'm gonna be honest. I clicked the next button when this started. I didn't have any interest in watching it, so I skipped it.
They
And
fucking
go the nin. Well, so you didn't see how it ended or anything.
No, I saw the ending. I didn't watch the body of the match though. I just
So you saw whoever Go. I don't know who plays Go the Ninja.
um
I'm sure you later find out. And I didn't really care about the AWA,
right.
but that dude is super terrified of Larry Hennig. Like,
Yes.
he's not acting like Larry Hennig's trying to do something to him, and that Go the Ninja dude's just like, fuck it, and gets out of there. Like, Larry Hennig tries to like whip him off the ropes, and he's gonna like hit him with a clothesline or a axe handle or something, and Go Ninja was like, nope.
I'm gonna go.
That was the thing that I thought. I was like, he brought poor fucking Axe into this thing.
But it was a dud, and yeah, Larry Zbyszko was comical in it. I like Larry Zbyszko, but other than that,
So I didn't miss anything by skipping it.
no.
Up next, we have the AWA World Championship match. Not a bad match at all. Hansen and Bockwinkel.
I like like Stan Hansen comes out, just beats the fuck out of
Yes.
Larry.
I love it because
I'd like to ask you something, Stan, and he just knocks him down like kicks him.
it's really quiet.
And Trongar's like, oh my god, you guys, I don't know if you saw, but Larry Nelson took a stiff one there.
Yeah, I have written down here, Hansen beats the shit out of Nelson. And
For no reason.
For no reason. And it was, like I said, it was really quiet.
And like Larry Nelson finally gets back up there, and Ron Trongar's like, well, the only person that knows why we did that was Stan Hansen. Larry Nelson's like, I didn't get a word out. I don't know what happened.
Can't even remember my name right now.
He didn't go like, tell me why you think you might not win this match or anything like that. He just beat the fuck out of him for no reason. It's my second favorite Stan Hansen thing I've ever seen.
The first one is about his fat kids and fat wife.
Well, that, and I like when they rank him number 6 in WCW, and he's like, 6. I ain't ever been 6 in anything in my goddamn life.
I like it when he says, I got 2 fat kids and a fat wife at home that I need to support.
And everything, but he says that quite a bit, but it's just like this like specific thing. He's like, I ain't never been 6 in anything in my goddamn life. Because he's not like on the mic, he's just ranting and raving.
Yeah.
That dude was awesome.
So next we start a trio of steel cage matches.
Which Bockwinkel won that match by DQ.
Oh yes, and I also have here that if you want to see, if you're not educated in Nick Bockwinkel, or not a newer fan that doesn't know a lot about Nick Bockwinkel, watch this because after the match, Nick Bockwinkel shows you promo 101. Very good promo after the match by Nick Bockwinkel. about wanting a rematch with Stan Hansen, how he's not done with him yet, et cetera, et cetera. But just the way Bockwinkel delivers it, that's how you do a wrestling promo.
Yeah, God forbid that it's the biggest show for AWA, and fuck it, let's have a disqualification on it.
They had a disqualification on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. They did a lot of non-finishes here. They were like WWE. WWE right now is much like AWA at this time, kind of spiraling out of control. But anyway, we start a trio of cage matches.
Yes.
None of them good. Well, I shouldn't say. This one's okay.
Greg Gagne and Superfly Snuka, which I think I read about a little bit about this event before I watched it, and I guess I didn't know, you don't know anything going into it, but I guess originally when they started this whole thing, this wasn't supposed to be Snuka, it was supposed to be Jerry Blackwell. And then something happened with Blackwell, so they took him out of the program, and Snuka came back, so they put him in it.
Thank God that happened.
And they are facing AWA's Barbarian, who is actually John Nord / Viking, Berserker, what have you. Johnny Graffiti.
Not Johnny Graffiti.
Oh, no, that was Jimmy Del Rey. Sorry. I'm editing that out because I sounded like an idiot. John Nord as Johnny Graffiti's great, though.
No, we don't edit out the fact that I fucked up and Guerrero. I'm not fucking editing shit out.
Johnny Graffiti. Would have been a totally different gimmick, man.
And they're facing, or John Nord here is known as the Barbarian.
Yeah, I'd redo this whole fucking thing.
In the AWA. And of course, they're using the name King Kong Brody instead of Bruiser Brody.
It's because of the Crusher and Bruiser.
Yeah.
And
which is
stupid. Huh?
Which is stupid. But anyway.
And the fact that fucking Greg Gagne has any type of offense against either one of these guys is a fucking joke.
This is true.
He looks like a substitute English teacher. Like Greg Gagne is one of them guys that like looked old when he was like 22.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know he's not 22 here, but
well, and he's also
I'm not a fan of the Gagnes. Either one of them.
Nah, not really. Ed Gagne is actually like he has a terrible look. He has a terrible ring presence. He is the epitome of I'm in this because my dad said that I can be, that kind of a thing. Like the Von Erichs. The Von Erichs were, well, 3 of them were good performers without having to be their father's sons, even though that's the way Fritz played it up. Does what I'm saying make sense? Yeah. Like David Carey and Kevin Von Erich could have been wrestlers even if they weren't, we are the sons of Fritz.
Yeah, like his name could have been like Kerry Calhoun, and he's so what I got over.
Right. Yeah, but Greg Gagne is only over in Minnesota because his dad is Vern Gagne. He never could. Greg Gagne never could have went to the WWF, and he'd have been David Sammartino.
Yeah. And he said Blackwell was supposed to team with him or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Jerry Blackwell. Like, the only thing that saved this match was the fact that Jimmy Snuka was in it. And when he was in, it was fun. Like, it was a good, decent brawl when Snuka was there with Nord or Brody. But other than that, it's like, come on.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So, Gagne and Superfly win this match.
Which brings out Vern the Crippler Gagne.
To face Adnan Al-Kaisi. He gets to have a match with Adnan because of the victory in this match. And then at the end of the match, after he beats Al-Kaisi up for about 6 minutes and beats him, then he says, if you notice to the commentators, this is my last one for real. Like, okay, Vern.
Whatever you say, buddy.
Whatever you say. How many times have you retired and you're not going to wrestle anymore? And
get the fuck out of here.
So this terribly Get the fuck.
The crowd's like,
Who the Who the fuck is Vern Gagne?
He was God to those people, but he was trash. So I should say he's trash. Didn't say that.
So we wrap this this popcorn fart of a show up.
Was something that you thought would be really good, but
And
it was so boring.
Exactly what I said. This match, I thought it was going to be good, and I found myself, like, reading Facebook. You know, like, I was just not interested. The Road
is garbage.
The Road Warriors against Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin.
It's just a shame.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
On paper, it's like, oh, in a fucking steel cage.
But the Road Warriors are about to be on their way out here. And I think Hayes and Garvin were, too, about to be on their way out. So maybe the four guys just didn't give a fuck. I don't know. But it definitely was not a good match. Not what you would expect from the Road Warriors and the future Freebirds here at the WrestleRock. But like I said, after the match was over, man, them people fucking booked it out of there. Like, they were like, we got to work in the morning or something, because that place emptied out like it filled with noxious gas or something. I was like, damn.
It was filled with noxious gas the whole night. Name was on Trongard.
You got fucking dads going like, we ain't ever going to get the fuck out of here if we don't go now.
Ron Trongard. Fuck Ron Trongard. He's Ron Trongard and Byron Saxton. Fuck them both. Hate them. I'd rather listen to the Duke of Dorchester commentate than Ron Trongard, and that's the straight up truth. And there's actually a match on the WWE Network when the motherfuckers commentate together. And I was like, I don't care if this is Dynamite Kid versus Bret Hart. I'm not watching it. Fuck that shit. I'm Ron Trongard with the Duke of Dorchester. No, you're not. Skip. All right.
Duke of Dorchester, Mike McGirt, and
Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard's pretty fucking rough.
It is. It's bad, but Pritchard will tell you that.
Yeah, he was like, I fucking suck.
He didn't want to do it anyway.
I fucking sucked. He will not say he was bad at anything either. Like,
right.
And he will, even if he knows it's bad, he will lie. But yeah, he was like, I fucking suck it down.
Didn't want to do it. Wasn't good at it. All right. So, out of, 5 stars, what do you guys give WrestleRock 86 from the AWA?
Fucking 1.
Aaron?
I would say that's about accurate. There's like 12 matches on this thing, and 2 of them are good.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, too. So, I think we're kind of a general consensus that this was a 1 to 1.5. I'd say 1.5 stars.
I think the 3 steel cages matches fucking costed a half a star.
Because you don't want to have too many of the same gimmick.
Yeah, like the fuck was that about?
Good.
Right. The yeah, so 1.5 stars for this thing, and hopefully we don't have to watch any more of these AWA shows. Put ourselves through it. However,
if certain people didn't put it on there,
you got to give Gary Michael Capetta credit. He gave Aretha Franklin a run for her money.
Hell of a singing voice.
You know who didn't have good singing voices?
Who?
Every single person who fucking sang that goddamn song.
The WrestleRock Rumble?
Yeah.
That's a fun video to watch also, folks, if you want to look that up on YouTube. Oh, it's fun to watch when you're drunk and laughing.
Say maybe.
It's hot garbage, don't get me wrong.
I'm pretty sure that's what they show people in hell on repeat.
That and anything Celine Dion, yes. Here's Celine Dion and the WrestleRock Rumble. So on that note, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we will discuss some unpopular opinions, and Aaron has some funny gimmicks for us, too. So I'm looking forward to that. And we will be right back with more of the We Can't Wrestle podcast after this. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Nate, Aaron, and Kyle here with you. And just some side notes here before we start our next segment. Wanted to let everybody know that you can join our Facebook group. The group is open, so if you look it up, it's the We Can't Wrestle podcast Facebook group. We have quite a few followers on there now. People in the group love the participation. I try to post a couple to a few discussion topics every week on there, and then of course you can feel free, if you're already a member, to post anything on the group you'd like to. Also, like and share our Facebook page and the podcast with your friends. And if you listen on Apple, iTunes, or Google Play, give us a 5-star rating and comment on that. That helps the show's exposure as well. And one more thing, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, please check out the links that I post to the group and the Facebook page for the GoFundMe for a friend of the show, Jerry Gray, who is battling stage 4 cancer. Every little bit you can give to Jerry helps him out, and you know, he's depleted his funds in his battle with cancer, and every penny helps out with food, medical supplies, anything Jerry needs. So give anything you can to the Jerry Gray GoFundMe. And, of course, like I said, every couple times a week I post a link to that on the Facebook group and the Facebook page as well. Unless there's anything else you guys want to mention, we will roll on here.
No good.
All right. So we're going to talk about some unpopular opinions that we have. And I'm going to start here by saying that a lot of people give a lot of hate to this guy. But there was a good period in his career. I think that from 1989 until he left WCW in 1992, Lex Luger was pretty fucking good.
Yes, he was.
No, I guess it's not as unpopular as an opinion as I thought. I mean, I just, you know, as a face or a heel, he was fucking over. He had good matches.
The only thing I can say is, like, Luger, and it is what it is, Luger was never a good promo guy. But,
no, allocades.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think about that, Kyle, what I just said? I mean, I know a lot of people hate on Luger. You know, I see general hatred out there for Luger, and I just think that 2 to 3 year period of his career, he was actually really good. He stopped caring after that.
Like Tony Schiavone talks about his promos, and it's like a bunch of rambling and slurring of words, and point your finger, extend your thumb, and draw a line.
That's pretty much it.
And you don't think about it until he says it.
Yeah.
And Luger does not. He cannot point just like regular. He has to have his thumbs extended out all the time, and he always draws a line in the air.
So what do you think about that one, Kyle? You agree with me, disagree with me?
I agree with you. I think that any time that he was in WCW, he was definitely a lot better.
It helped that he had
that Southern style. You know, like he was made for. I don't think he was ever made for like the New York territories and stuff. He was basically a, you know, NWA, WCW Southern wrestler type of guy.
It didn't hurt that he was lined up with like Sting, Ricky Steamboat, Brian Pillman. You know, he had those Barry Windham.
Ric
Flair.
Flair.
Had those guys with him. Ric Flair. Yeah, I mean that.
And he had badass entrance music in WCW then. That music's cool as hell.
I liked him and Harley together.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I will disagree with you, Kyle. You said that he was always better in WCW. See, once he comes back to WCW in '95, during the Monday Night Wars, I could live without Lex Luger.
He's hot garbage.
Well,
and I know when he beat Hogan, I mean, it was a big deal and people went ape shit and stuff, but I just overall, by that point, WCW, I mean, he was just getting a paycheck and
those people went ape shit for the same reason I just said, like, you know, why he had a good run, because he was in there with Hulk Hogan. You know,
right.
If that would have been Lex Luger beating the Giant, like the WCW championship, nobody would have gave a shit.
Yeah.
He was in there. It was the same thing. He was in there when he was in there with great faces that could sell for him and make him look like $1 million, and then he was in there with a great heel that made him look like $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So unless there's anything else on Monsieur Luger,
I think he sucked when it was, what was it, 1999, when he started the whole package thing.
Oh God.
1999 sucks. Like, there's a few good things in there, like Ric Flair at the insane asylum and stuff like that. But
yeah, it was
99 as a whole.
Like from 95 to 99, he was bad. But once he started wearing the tracksuit thing or whatever, God, it's boring. He's just boring. His act with Elizabeth was boring. His act with like the thing with Flair, like all of it, just boring. So another unpopular opinion that I have, and this may or may not strike a chord with a few of our listeners, because I know some of our listeners are a fan of this guy. I think that Bruiser Brody is overrated.
I didn't really see much of him to, have an opinion either way.
I think that if he would have lived and he wouldn't have had the whole murder thing go down and create kind of a legend, I don't think that there would be as much revelry for Bruiser Brody as there is. I've never seen a Bruiser Brody match that I found to be... I'm not saying he was bad, but I don't know that he was much better than Abdullah the Butcher. I don't know.
I can see that.
Aaron, anything on Bruiser?
No,
It wasn't a great promo. He no-sold guys all the time, which is bad for business. I don't know. I just don't see it. I think that he benefits from, again, because of the tragic way his life ended, which was horrible. I'm not demeaning that in any way. I think he kind of gets a pass, and he was also friends with Dave Meltzer, so Dave Meltzer got him all hyped up in that community, because those people kind of follow Dave like sheep, no offense. But yeah, I think Brody was overrated. All right. That one didn't spark much debate.
I got one that'll start.
I'm indifferent to Bruiser Brody, so.
Kyle?
Mm-hmm.
You have one that I think is going to pop off a little bit. Actually, this one, I would like, after we record the show, or actually after you see that I have posted the show, after I've edited it and posted it, I want you to post this on the Facebook group, because I want to see how this pops off with our listeners.
All right. Fair enough.
Because I disagree with you.
I kind of figured when I sent it to you all, and you guys were like, yeah, and there was no response to it. Now, what I'm going to ask is to please give me my chance to explain and...
Oh, I'll let you.
Okay? All right. In my opinion, I think Bret Hart was a little overrated. Not that he wasn't good, not that he wasn't a great wrestler, but I think he was a little overrated.
You got lots of explaining to do, Lucy.
Okay. So, first off and foremost, think about with Bret Hart. Would he have ever gotten the chance that he got if it wasn't for the steroid trial? Okay. Think about the fact that when he took over as champion, the company kind of started going downhill. Okay. I don't want to say he can't draw, but to me, he's kind of like with Triple H. He needs somebody to draw with.
Still letting you present your case.
No, and that's fine. Just think about it, okay? When Bret Hart's biggest thing that he did in WWF was what, probably the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, the Hart Foundation and Steve Austin feud. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean that was probably the biggest thing he did.
Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler,
Which was
You're
great.
gonna tell me it's not good.
I'm not saying it's not good. I mean, it's
Some
fun
of
for
those
what it is.
It's some of the most entertaining shit that ever happened to that company.
And I'm giving you
Bret Hart versus Owen Hart is one of the best stories ever told in professional wrestling history.
I'm giving
Okay.
you the benefit of the doubt on this one too, because I'm saying I'm just taking I'm taking it that this is your opinion on Bret as a singles. We're not even covering the Hart Foundation tag team.
No, I'm
Okay.
talking about Bret Hart as himself, by himself, singles competitor, because everything that I've heard about him is that he took himself way too serious. And for a business that, I don't know how to explain this. We all know that, the business is about putting people over and giving up when it's your time. And he complained about, like, oh, Hogan doesn't want to pass the torch. But yet he kind of did the same thing, like with Shawn and stuff.
Well, okay.
And everybody said,
Hey. Bret Hart might have bitched about putting somebody over, but he went out there and he did it. At the end of the day, he'd go out there and he'd do it. Okay.
But he did with Shawn, though.
And where I will
Because Shawn Michaels looked at him and said, Bret said, I have no problem putting you over. And Shawn Michaels said, thanks, I appreciate that, but I can't say the same thing to you.
And where I will argue the point about Michaels, Kyle, is you're right. He had his issues with Shawn, but that's the very thing I'm going to say. He has issues with Shawn because I don't think that there's any better example other than after Shawn Michaels came back and put a bunch of young guys over after he stopped being an asshole. But I don't think there's a better example of an established star
Being a douchebag.
putting over a newer star and making a star than Bret Hart with Steve Austin. Bret Hart didn't have a problem putting people over. He had a problem putting Shawn Michaels over because at that time Shawn Michaels was an asshole.
When I said douchebag, I thought you were going to say, because Kyle, real quick, with you say like Bret didn't want to put Shawn Michaels over, all Shawn Michaels wanted to do is work with his buddies. And Shawn Michaels didn't want to put Shawn Michaels didn't want to put anybody over. And not even just in the ring, just in general. He would just shit on people on camera, and it wasn't even a way to benefit. Like
see, Bret did the same damn thing.
No, he didn't.
Whether he did it on front of the camera or he did it behind the scenes. Think about it.
No, I'm not gonna deny he didn't play some politics. I mean,
everybody plays politics.
Well, and I understand that, but Hulk Hogan did the same goddamn thing. That's the reason why Brutus Beefcake has had a fucking job for the last fucking 20 years because of Hulk Hogan. I mean, that's what it is. I mean,
that's fine. And Hulk Hogan took care of his buddy. He took care of Brutus Beefcake, okay? But he wasn't always just like, I'm only going to work with Brutus Beefcake.
No, you're right. He didn't. But see, Bret, at the same time, think about this, okay? Imagine you work for a company that has given you everything that you have, okay? And then you sit there and you tell the boss, like, hey, no, I'm going to basically hold you up because I won't lose to Shawn in Montreal because it's Canada. Fuck gives a shit if it's Canada or it's America.
Okay, well, you're basing this guy's, you're saying this guy's
but it's not just that.
Overrated off of one decision.
But it's not just that. Look at WCW, okay? Another example. He goes to WCW, and everyone's like, oh, WCW mismanaged him. I think a lot of it's also with Bret. Bret didn't want to fucking do shit. He said, I fucking phoned it in. Making $3 million a fucking year, and you're phoning it in.
Making $300 million a fucking year, and they're doing that creative with it.
But see, that's the thing, though. He never fucking changed anything. He never said, "Hey, I want to do this," or "Let's try that." From Eric Bischoff's mouth himself, he said, "Fucking Brett just would be like, well, whatever."
Well, now you're just saying you're contradicting what you just said there, because you were like, he should have done what the people that were paying him were doing. He was doing what the people that were paying him were telling him to do.
Perfect example: Hulk Hogan, when he found out.
I'm saying when he gets to WCW, you say he sucks, but he's doing everything that you said he should have did in the WWF. He's putting guys over. He's doing what's ever asked of him.
I would say he was doing what's asked of him, or he's doing,
No, he was doing what was asked of him. He just said that. He said, Eric Bischoff told, from Eric Bischoff's mouth, do this. Okay, boss. Thank you. And he went out there and he did his job. Okay, well,
think about it,
though. You're painting the guy in a corner.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. Imagine if you're fucking Steve Austin, and Vince comes up and says, "Hey, we're going to do this," and he wondered, "Hey, we want you to work with Jeff Jarrett." He said, "No, because that's not good for me."
Well, then I guess Steve Austin's overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's doing what you said Bret was doing.
But see, the problem is that, name me a time that Bret Hart fucking sold tickets, like sold tickets like Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan.
Well, tell me a time anybody did.
Fucking John Cena?
John Cena did not sell tickets like that. John Cena was in the WWE when it wasn't just one guy.
Well, he was the guy that fucking ran the place. I mean, goddamn, when you're fucking selling the most T-shirts and shit.
The only place that I will say that the only thing I would say about Bret that I would say is I guess kind of an overrate. And I'm again, I disagree with your opinion that he's overrated, because I think he's one of the greatest ever. He's one of my favorites ever.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I will say that I do think that Bret does fall sometimes into the same category that you could put Flair in, even though they're both fantastic. They did both have the same match a lot of the time. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that they did. They had their, they did have kind of a formula to what they did.
A lot of guys do.
And I know that. But I'm saying that's the only place where I could say I think that maybe,
unless he's at like WrestleMania or SummerSlam or something like that. Dwayne Johnson has the same match a lot.
Right.
Kyle's favorite wrestler, John Cena. He has the same match a lot.
Okay, let me put it this way. I'm just gonna fucking just go off here, okay? So just bear with me for a minute. Bret Hart has done nothing but bitch over the last fucking 20 years about how fucking Vince McMahon screwed him. And that's the only thing that he's ever fucking held his hat on. That's the reason why he's still irrelevant today. Because he constantly bitches about it. He constantly bitches about the Montreal screw job. And the fact is that, guess what? When he left WWF, his time was up. People were tired of seeing Bret Hart. That's the reason why Vince fucking let him go. Because had he been at the level that Steve Austin or Shawn Michaels or fucking anybody else was, he would have done whatever to keep him. He comes to WCW. Yes, you could say that maybe the creative was fucking horrible, but you know what? Bret didn't fucking help the matters either. No, all he did was bitch and complain about WWF. Oh, they stole the title from me. Oh, they did this, they did that. I mean, fuck.
And
you want to talk about this?
Aaron and I have had this conversation before, and he, as far as that goes, as far as his personality goes, Bret is very much, and I will say this, Kyle, and you have to admit this, Bret is very similar in that respect to Mick Foley. in that,
No, I give you that.
in that Bret Hart, and both fantastic performers, both amazing wrestlers, both guys we all like a lot, but in their personalities, they're very stuck on themselves.
And I'm not saying.
And they have a higher opinion of themselves than anyone else does.
and maybe that's the way I should put it. Is not that he's overrated, but he has a higher opinion of himself than what he fucking actually is. Because in Bret's eyes, he's fucking God. You watch, for example, you watch the fucking Wrestling with Shadows. When Vince fucking tells him, he's like, "Oh, you know, hey, I want you to do this." He's like, "Well, that's kind of like taking a gun and shooting my brains out from a character standpoint." It's like, fucking give me a break, Bret.
He is a little dramatic in that.
It's like, God damn it, man. Like, it's a carnival show is what this is. And I'm sorry that you're not as popular as you once were or fucking thought you should be. But it's amazing how fucking every single time that he does a job or loses to somebody, then it's, well, I was supposed to get my win back next year. But it never happened. You know, like with Hogan, when they put the belt on Hogan, which, say what you want, I think Yoko should have won it, but right then and there from Bret,
Right.
and just kept it. But that's, say what you want. For some reason, Vince felt that Hogan needed to fucking come and be the champion. And then it was, oh, I'm supposed to get my match back with Hogan. And then it was when he lost to Shawn. It was, well, next year I'm supposed to have my rematch with Shawn. And like everybody said, like, it wasn't always the fucking case, or if it was, shit changed.
And I think that there is also a bias, I will say from a personal opinion, because, I mean, wrestling is art, and art is subjective. But I think there's also a bias on my part disagreeing with you some, because we're all formed by our prime years, you know, and my prime wrestling fan years. I mean, I was a fan as a kid, but as a kid, you don't get it. It's wrestling and it's cool. My prime wrestling years were the 90s, and in the WWF in the 90s, when business was down, Bret was the shit. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like trying to tell a guy from the 70s that Bruno was overrated, because I think Bruno's a bit overrated. You're going to gravitate to what was your, you know what, do you see what I'm saying?
No,
like,
absolutely.
you know, like kids that are my son's age now, 17, you know, he's like, you know, John Cena's the shit, you know. That's the deal. That's how they're gonna look at it. They're gonna look at it as what was cool when I was in my teen and young adult years. So there is a bit of that too. I do have a bit of bias there too. But I think that overall, I think Bret's career is a career worth standing on. And you're right. He is bitter, or was for a lot of years, and he did ride that fucking. He made as much money off that Montreal screw job as he lost from it. And he did beat that horse. But I think that overall, and like I said, I can't wait to see the feedback from the listeners on this one.
I can't wait for it either.
But yeah, I think overall, I think that Bret's position in the history of the business is exactly where he should be.
Just, I guess to me, it's like, okay, for a guy who claims that he's the excellence of execution, and he goes out there and he works with every single person, and by God, he's gonna make the person better than they were. Name me a match in WCW where he did that.
I can't in WCW.
I mean, the best match he had in WCW was against Benoit in the Owen Hart tribute match.
Yeah, I would say that, and then I don't remember what pay-per-view it was. I think it was a Super Brawl. Maybe. No, it wasn't a Super Brawl. Whenever he had that match with Hennig, him and Hennig had a really good match in WCW. But him and Hennig could have a good match anywhere, you know. But, yeah, I mean, his WCW career was definitely a letdown. That's for damn sure. And that probably falls on him and WCW both.
No, absolutely.
And I'm sure that some of his perspective, you know, you think about it, if he was really that hung up on what happened in Montreal and leaving the WWF and all that, we don't know. I mean, you don't know. The people didn't talk about it then like they do now. He quite frankly could have been suffering from depression.
And I'm not saying that's not. And I'm not saying I don't feel bad for him. I'm not saying Bret Hart's a horrible wrestler. I like Bret Hart. I think he's a fantastic wrestler. I think he's one of the best. But in his mind, in a lot of people's minds, he's the fucking be all end all. He's the fucking day begins and ends with Bret Hart. And I'm like, he's good. I like Bret. I will enjoy any match that he has. But people refer to him like he's the second coming of Jesus Christ. And it's like, I don't think so. Because, you know, when you stack up his runs with, you know, like Hogan, even Cena. And I know Aaron made fun of me. He's like, oh, you know, John Cena fan. I am a fucking John Cena fan. The dude has been on fucking top for nearly, what, almost 20 years?
Since 05. So, yeah, going on 15 years.
You know, god damn. I mean...
Yeah, Brett and Sean both have to, and again, like I said, that comes from me being a 90s dude. Brett and Sean both have to bear that one a little bit, in that neither one of them were, they were both big stars, and they're both great wrestlers, but neither one of them were big draws. Neither one of them were, you know, so. All right.
Fuck Taker. Taker wasn't even that big a draw until the last couple of years.
Right.
I mean, fuck, you know, I'm not saying I hate Brett. I'm not saying that I don't like Brett. That's not the point of any of this. I just think that Brett took himself too serious in a business that is fucking what it is. It's pro wrestling. He wasn't a good promo. Yes, he was a phenomenal in-ring technician. But goddamn, so was Dean Malenko, and so was fucking Chris Benoit, and so was fucking a handful of other guys. I think Owen was a better fucking in-ring wrestler than what Brett was. You know, fucking look at Mr. Perfect. Kurt Hennig was a fucking phenomenal. But why? Just because you're a great in-ring technician doesn't mean that you are the man.
Complete package, yeah.
You know, goddamn, there's a reason why Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin were the biggest fucking draws, is because they had everything there. And I don't think Brett had the charisma.
Aaron?
What?
Anything else on this?
I said my piece.
Well, we will definitely throw that out to the Facebook group. I'm going to let Kyle take his heat. Once I post the thing, you need to post this in the Facebook group, because I'm gonna have fun watching these fires start. How's that?
I'm going on Facebook right now and posting.
Okay, it's a preview of the show.
Like, I'm fucking scared. I'll fucking live with my sword, die with my sword.
So now, on a lighter note, Aaron's creative juices were flowing, and he came up with some more comedic gimmicks for us, like Dick the Loser and the Blusher.
Telling you, Gorilla Too Soon is the best.
I still love Dick the Loser. That's my dude.
I know you do.
Dick the Loser's my dude.
You know, I don't put myself over that much. You know, like you're always like you're funnier than you think and all that other shit. You know, but yeah, Gorilla Too Soon is my favorite. Kyle, are you done posting?
I'm posting right now. You go ahead.
No, I want your undivided attention.
So, Aaron, what do you got for us?
Are we on?
We are on.
All right. I'm gonna try to do these in not the order that I wrote them, because I wrote them as I was working through a box of Bud. So Some of them might not be as okay, folks. I'm just full disclosure. When I write most of these gimmicks or come up with most of these gimmicks, I am
Hammered like a nail.
Yes. So to me, in my mind, they're super funny, and I laugh. And then there's been some that I've woke up and been like, that doesn't make any sense. Like one I wrote, it was a promoter that like would just not talk to anybody about anything if they weren't inside the wrestling business, and his name was Kayfabe Alan Fry. Yeah. That was when I
tall, awkward, skinny, and very secretive.
Yeah, he will protect the business, and no, I took that off my list. I took Kayfabe Alan Fry off. Guess I should have left it.
They never have meetings with Kayfabe Alan Fry. It's always a mis-eating.
So the first one that I left on my list is he's a big jacked up Samoan wrestler who's always telling you to shh, be quiet, shh, be quiet. Do you know who he is?
I do not.
He's the librarian.
Now, wait, that guy was in my tag team.
Oh man, yeah, but you didn't make him Samoan.
I did not. But I had the landlord and the librarian. That's all right. He can be a singles wrestler now.
Yeah, you had the librarian. I'm sorry.
Be quiet. He's got to say it in the barbarian voice, though. Shh. Be quiet.
Be quiet.
Hey, Tommy Young. Be quiet.
You come here and give me silent jack off.
Come here, quietly jack me off.
The next one on my list. Kyle, you there, buddy?
Yep.
With us? All right. He's an androgynous hillbilly. His name is Farm Dust.
He's got to use a DDT, right?
Yeah. He's androgynous.
You'll never forget the corn of Farm
Dust, y'all.
Y'all. I like the y'all at the end.
Yeah.
Farm Dust, y'all.
Y'all never forget the name of Farm Dust.
He comes out to some Nelly song.
All right. The next wrestler, okay? He be using hoes nationwide. He's the sod father.
No.
What? You said no?
No.
You don't like that one?
It's stupid.
They're all stupid. He goes from town to town, making your lawn better. The sod father. Be using hoes nationwide. There are any landscapers up in this place?
Light a fatty for this yard, daddy.
Do you like it?
I can build off of anything.
I know,
so.
you just can't say no. And that's stupid. It's like, really? I just said an androgynous hillbilly named Farm Dust. That's fucking stupid. Ready for the next one?
Ready.
All right. This is a giant man baby who walks around in a giraffe onesie, and his name is George Garanimal Steel.
Ooh, that beats Dick the Loser. Mine. Onesie.
That was the one that I was the most drunk.
That was fucking great. I love it. Ooh, I like that. I like that one.
I can tell you like that one. George Garanimal Steel. Are you recovered?
Yes, I'm better now.
Okay. The next one on my list is Mexican Rick Steiner. Just a Mexican guy looks like Rick Steiner.
There's actually a lot of Mexican guys that look like Rick Steiner.
I know. That's why I did it.
Michigan.
All right. The next guy on my list is the most relaxed professional wrestler there is. And his name is Paul Soma.
What?
His name, he's the most relaxed wrestler there is. And his name is Paul Soma.
Instead of Paul Roma?
Yeah, it's Paul Soma.
You
What, you don't like that?
No.
It's like, wrestlers take Somas. They used to take Somas.
I know they do.
It fucking killed Rick McGraw.
He always said, I was going to say, every time he comes out to the ring, he's like got a face full of spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, Paul Soma.
Fell asleep in his pasta.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Paul Soma. All right. This next one is either, you guys are either going to just be like, that's fucking retarded. I shouldn't say that word. You're going to say it's either fucking stupid or you'll like it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The next guy, he's a middle-aged guy, you know, middle to late-aged man. He only wears khakis, okay? Even when he wears like a t-shirt, like he tucks his t-shirt into his khakis. Hates shopping at the Walmart or the Target because it's always so busy. And he's like, you know what? If I have to pay $2 more for toilet paper, I will. I'm not going to the Walmart or the Target. His name is VK Walgreens. That one was dumb. See, that's the one where you should have said, "Oh, no." That deserved no. Okay,
So-
this wrestler, he has narcolepsy. All right, he'll be in the middle of his match and he'll just fall asleep. His name is Darren Dozdoff.
Oh.
Instead of Darren Drozdoff, Darren Dozdoff. What?
Oh.
It's not funny, or it's like, oh, you shouldn't make fun of Darren Drozdoff.
No, fuck, that doesn't matter. You're not making fun of his disability or anything.
Yeah, I told you we shouldn't have ended with this. Because I got two more. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This next wrestler, he has a flatulence problem. Okay, and it's really bad. And his name is Poot Andrews.
I was gonna say fart bar.
No, Poot Andrews.
Oh, some people might not even get that one.
I know, it's a deep cut.
Yes,
Poot
it is.
Andrews.
For those of you that don't know, look up. There was a wrestler named Scoot Andrews.
He was the Black Nature.
Which actually, you could have called him Scoot Sanders. But anyway.
Last one, guys.
The main
He's
event.
a big man wrestler, all right? Big man wrestler with diabetes. And his name is Sam Sweetenlow.
What?
Instead of Bam Bam Bigelow.
I made that joke last time.
Did you?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
He didn't use it as he didn't base it on Bigelow.
Well, you can
it
edit
was
that out.
Big on sweet and low.
Oh, well, edit it out.
No. I will be goddamned if you're gonna edit shit out. If I have to
He's like, if I gotta live with that Hoovy garbage, you two are gonna live with every goddamn mistake you make.
I didn't remember you making Sam Sweet and Low.
He didn't
Well,
make
I don't know
Sam
if that
Sam
is a
sweet and
fucking-
low.
It wasn't saying it was. I gotta look it up and see what it was that I called it. But I don't know if that fucking speaks for the fact that you're not listening to me when I talk.
What?
I don't think you listen to me when I fucking talk.
You fell for it. So I'm sorry my gimmick sucked. You guys can skewer me on Facebook.
Oh no, that Garanimals thing made up the whole thing. Like, if there were any nopes in there, the Garanimals won it.
Yours, your animal steel.
But you were like Herb Abrams a couple of times. Or not Herb Abrams, but what was that promoter that had the rip-off like Bruno Sammartino?
Jack Pfeffer?
Yeah, you were like that guy a couple times because you stole a librarian and you stole Sweet Low.
I don't give a fuck.
Whatever makes money, right? Whatever draws,
right.
brother.
Yeah. Sam, sweet and low.
So, my co-hosts, do we want to take a break before we talk about these musical artists?
Oh, snap. I forgot we were doing that.
Yes, we are.
I mean, I didn't forget to write them down. I just forgot we were doing that. Because my gimmicks were so awesome. I was like,
Well, it was my idea.
Tootsie, fuck off. We're out.
Let's say it was my idea, so I'm fucking not surprised that you didn't fucking remember.
Yeah, he probably wasn't listening.
No, I saw that because it was in text.
Do we want to take a break before we do that?
I don't care.
Sure.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll talk about some of our favorite musical artists. I put down 3.
I put down 3.
Yeah, like top 3. And when we return, we'll have that for you here on the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Little pop culture coming up after the break. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We're going to wrap the show up this week with talking about our favorite musical acts. But Kyle said he's got a couple of gimmicks for us.
Yeah, there's 2 that I just came up with. I want to share them with you.
Hopefully they're better than mine.
All right. The first one is
Little Mr. T.
He's the 8th, 9th, and 10th meal of the world. It's Entree, the Giant.
That's a good one.
Gordon Ramsay loves him.
Yeah.
And then the last one, he's a big fan of fruit. He's a big fan of anything chilled fruits. He's Fruitista.
Fruitista? I
have a feeling you were putting a frozen entree in the microwave while drinking a Fruitista, and that's how you came up with it. I heard a distinct humming and a bing.
Actually, you know what? It was actually funnier, like the Fruitista. That's funny. But it was funnier yet, the hype for him. He's a big fan of fruit. He's Fruitista. Or Batista in a big onesie. The Garanimal Batista. Taking it back to...
He serves you your coffee in a timely manner. He's the barista.
Barista.
Did you do the Garanimal Batista because I took your librarian?
No, I was just trying to do a throwback. So, Kyle, since you came up with this ideal, we'll let you start.
Okay.
3 favorite musical artists.
Well, it's going to be very fast and very quick because, like I said, I'm not.
Getting the ladies ready for this segment.
Hell yeah. So think about it, because this is what I listen to when I make love. It's fucking real fast.
Ooh.
Number 1 is, and again, I'm sure there's people out there that know, and if you know, good for you. Number 1 is Cannibal Corpse. Number 2 is
Did you forget?
No. I was fucking thinking about the whole fast thing. Cattle decapitation, and number 3 is the Black Dahlia murder.
See,
I don't know who any of those people are. Tut, say goodbye. No cry.
Cannibal Corpse.
Fucking show has gone off the rails.
See, I find myself on the fence with Cannibal Corpse because they will do stuff that, because I'm not a death metal or thrash metal fan a lot of the time, but they do some songs that I enjoy. But I get on the fence about them, and I think that's more just it's not necessarily that I don't think they're a good band. It's a flavor thing, you prefer your flavors.
Yep. Absolutely.
And they have done a few tunes that I dig. Black Dahlia Murder, to be honest, I don't know that I've ever heard them.
They're pretty good. Like I said, they're more, I guess you would say, grindy than death metal, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're a little bit more faster.
I don't know who they are.
Well, what do you have, Aaron?
Oh, I'm going next.
Mm-hmm.
My list is vastly different than Kyle's. I'm just gonna say that, and not that Kyle's list is bad. This is my thing. Like I don't judge people on the form of music that they listen to.
Well, music's like wrestling; it's art. Art's subjective.
Like I will judge somebody off who they think is funny. Like I will judge you off comedy. Like if somebody comes up to me and goes, "Carrot Top is hilarious," get the fuck out of here. Get
fucking
fuck out of here.
Yeah, go piss up a rope.
I'll keep saying that until they get the fuck out of here.
I really like Andy Dick.
Or if somebody comes up and
He's like, I really like Andy Dick.
Fuck you. Or Adam Sandler's a comedic genius. No, he isn't. Get the fuck out of here. That type of thing. Or, I will judge somebody by their hairstyle. Like, you have terrible hair and choice of clothing. I'll judge you on that. But I'm not going to judge you on what music you like. It's all subjective. And what?
Nothing.
I have things I judge people about. It's their comedy, their choice in hairstyle and clothing. Because other people have to look at you, but they don't have to listen to your music in the car.
Yes.
Unless they're in it with you. And that was their choice. You chose to get in the car, with the guy with the mullet and the who farted.
So now you have to listen to fucking Rat.
Yeah, now you have to listen to that. You chose this situation.
So you got me.
Like, I'll walk, Ed. But anyway.
You got me off on a thing here. Hold on, before you go on. I want to say this, and I want to make it emphatically clear. I have a. If anybody looks at my Spotify or my MP3s, I have a very vast array of musical taste. I go from Patsy Cline to Metallica, etc., etc. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Hair rock is the worst form of music ever fucking created. Rat, White Snake, all that fucking garbage that I had. That's why I don't listen to 98.9 The Bear in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Because they play the same goddamn 6 hair rock songs. Hey, you know who else is overrated? Fucking Van Halen's overrated. Eddie Van Halen's an amazing guitar player, and that's where it ends. Anyway, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I kind of went off on a rant about mullets and who farted shirts. Adam Sandler, Andy Dick, and Carrot Top. So it's okay. I have a couple honorable mentions because I really like music, and
Wait a minute, I said it. You ain't heard nothing.
The main guys on my list are all singles. I shouldn't say singles. One of them's a leader of a band, or was the leader of a band. But my honorable mentions, and it's people that, how do I say, it might not necessarily be my favorite musicians, but they, they speak to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, like, I really like U2, but Bono wouldn't be on my list. That type of thing. But
right.
Anyway, it's the two honorable mentions. One band is the Ramones. I love the Ramones. I don't think they ever did anything that was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy is Dr. Dre. And Dr. Dre was on my list, or was going to be on my list, because I think that dude is like, and I'm not a musical person. I have no musical talent in my body whatsoever. Kyle, you do. I've seen it. But like Dr. Dre, I think he's a talented motherfucker.
Yes.
He's
the best hip hop producer in the world.
Yeah. And he can rap, he can write, he can produce, he can manage.
He's actually
like the Bobby Heenan of rap music.
Like, because we're saying honorable mentions, and I only wrote down 3 here. Dre would be in my honorable mentions because he is on my list of top 10 ever for anything. Like,
the guy's awesome. And one of my favorite stories is like he started trying to be like, you know, not like dirty gangster rap anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the money started drying up, and his wife was like, "You need to go back to that gangster rap shit, but you better not bring that back up in his house." I just really like that story, you know. Like we went from driving fucking Mercedes and shit. But anyway, not in any particular order. And like I said, these guys speak to me, and I'll say the name if you guys want to elaborate on it, you can, or we can plow through it like we did Kyle's list. Not knocking your list. I'm just saying I don't know how you guys exactly want to do this. But the first guy on my list would be Bob Dylan.
I'm a fan of Bob Dylan as a lyricist. I'm not a fan of his music, if that makes sense.
It does.
I'm a fan of his lyrics.
I know a lot of people don't like his voice and all that, but I don't mind it. I think I almost said it was spoken word with music, but you know what that makes no sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It absolutely does. And like that is how I feel about like one of my favorites, again, not in this 3 that I have written down, but he'd be in my top 10 is Tom Petty. And some people feel that way about Tom Petty. They don't like his voice. I like it. You know, for his music it fits, and I love his lyrics, and I mean, I think Tom Petty's the shit, and yeah,
like, Tangled Up in Blue is one of my it's in my top 10 favorite songs of all time,
mm-hmm.
and It Ain't Me, Babe is an amazing song because it just depends on the tone and the candor of how you sing it.
Right.
Like when Johnny Cash and
June
sing it, you know, it's like a love song or whatever, but like.
When Dylan sings it, it's a diss.
Yeah, ain't me, babe. No, go away. You know, that type of thing. Yeah, it's good shit. But yeah, I love Bob Dylan. Love him. Kyle, you got an opinion on Bob Dylan?
I like Bob Dylan.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. Next guy on my list is James Brown.
James Brown.
Goddamn right, James Brown. Second best performer in music history, in my opinion. Second best music performer, and it might even be an A1 and an A2 with one of the next guys I'm going to say. But James Brown was fucking amazing.
Get up off of that thing.
Yeah, his entire life was amazing. The Big Payback is like one of the it's in my top 20 songs. I love that fucking song.
Mm-hmm.
Get up off of that thing. Everything about it. Good Foot. It's all good shit, man. And I just love James Brown. He was like, I don't think he was a person. I think that dude was like the one alien that made it here and lived.
He was awful shiny.
And fucking insane, man. Insane. But I love James Brown. The next guy on my list is he is my favorite musician of all time. Is Johnny Cash.
And he was on my list.
And Nate, I know like he died or whatever, but Johnny Cash is great. But Nate, he's known me since I was born.
Aaron and I have been Johnny Cash fans since we were little dudes.
Yes, he was awesome.
I promise you this, listeners of the show. If there was no Johnny Cash, there never would have been possibly punk music, definitely grunge music. Johnny Cash's music was the first music that was, what do I want to say? Him and probably Robert Johnson were the pioneers of angst-filled music. I mean, as far as mass-produced music goes, I mean, obviously, spirituals from the unfortunate people that were slaves. I mean, that's, you can go back that far, but I'm saying as far as modern music goes, Johnny Cash and Robert Johnson set the foundation for rock and roll. And yeah, Johnny Cash was definitely on my list because, like I said, without his existence, there's less possibility of the existence of what we know as rock and roll today. And
he also, this will put the ball back in kind of you and Kyle's court because this is like your thing. Like when he remade "Hurt," like Trent Reznor was like, "Well, that's Johnny Cash's song now."
Yeah.
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 That's just it. That's
Same with Rusty Cage.
Yeah. Soundgarden was like, that's his song now.
Yeah, I think Trent Reznor was like, when I first heard that he was doing it, it was like kind of watching somebody fuck my girlfriend. And then after I heard it, I said, well, I just fucking lost my girlfriend.
And he was never not good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not even saying like there was times when he was a bad person, like a bad human being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He was not always the best guy in the world. But musically wise, he was never not good.
Right.
Like up until he stopped recording music. Like he did like those albums with like Rick Rubin, and he went back to his like the house that he was born in, and it had like a dirt floor, and set shit up in there, and recorded with like Tom Petty and all these other people, and it was fucking amazing.
Yes.
And it's an amazing picture of him from like, I'm assuming it's the mid 60s, and he's just like sitting out in like this shrubbery, just eating cake. And you can tell he's just pilled out of his fucking mind. And it's just a great picture. But that's beyond the point. But I love the guy. Like, I've never met him, but I love him.
One of the greatest of all time. Like I said, he was on my list, so I'll knock him off of that.
All right. And then I have two more, and then I'm done. The next one on my list, and a lot on my list is Dad. That's fucked up. I just realized that. The next guy on my list is Warren Zevon.
I like Mr. Zevon.
I love Warren Zevon. In my opinion, like his music is the best story music.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's amazing. The stories that he tells. Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead is great.
Roland.
Rolling the Headless Thompson Gunner, Hit Someone, Excitable Boy. Like, Excitable Boy is the most, like, the lyrics are so fucking twisted.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I put on another Facebook page and some other people put up their opinions, but I was like, is there a more twisted, upbeat song ever than Excitable Boy? Like, one of the things is like, he raped her and killed her, then he took her home. And like, he's just so excited about it.
Just an excitable boy.
Build a cage with her bone. Yeah, sorry, I messed the line up. But he's like, he raped her and killed her, then build a cage with her bones. Excitable boy, they all said. And he's just like slamming his piano. It's so fucking funny. It's so goddamn, like, it pisses. I shouldn't say it pisses me off, because like I said, music is music. The fact that most people are just like, oh yeah,
Werewolves of London.
London's great, man. It's like, there's so much fucking better shit out there.
But Werewolves of London resulted in a fantastic comedic moment.
Yeah, we talked about it before.
That, Kyle, did you ever watch the Larry Sanders Show?
No.
It was a show that Gary Shandling had on HBO back in the early 90s, okay? And he played Larry Sanders, so he was like a Johnny Carson or a Conan O'Brien, a late-night talk show host. And they would have guests on the show, and it would literally be the stars. Like, the stars would actually make guest appearances on the show to be on his fictional talk show, okay? So they do this episode where Warren Zevon is one of the guests, and it's one of my favorite comedic moments in television history, and no words are spoken in the moment. They go through the production meeting and everything. Warren Zevon's going to be on the Larry Sanders Show. And Larry's like, do you have anything, you want to talk about or anything? And Warren's like, well, frankly, everywhere I go, everything I do, people always want me to do Werewolves of London. I'm kind of tired of it. Kind of tired of singing it. I'd like to do something off my new album. And Larry's like, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So they get on live TV, and Larry Sanders is going to introduce Warren Zevon, and he goes, all right, it's live TV. He goes, here to sing his massive hit, Werewolves of London, Warren Zevon. And the look they give each other is fucking... I don't know. You have to see it, but it is one of the greatest comedic moments in television history. Because Warren Zevon gives him the most you motherfucker look. And Larry Sanders gives him back the, sorry. Anyway, now that I've gone on that diatribe. Aaron?
Yeah. Sorry,
I know, you've heard me tell that story a million times, so you're like, whatever.
Yeah, and I've seen the show 1,000 times. But the last guy on my list is the greatest front man in music history, and it's Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. Queen is also not on my... They're on my honorable mentions here. But as a band, and then Freddie most definitely as a vocalist.
I'm not even saying I'm saying as a fucking performer.
Oh, man. Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to hear, and the first thing I'll say is listen to Somebody to Love. I mean, fuck. And then besides that, something that doesn't get brought up enough is on Another One Bites the Dust. One of Freddie's best music, to me, one of Freddie's best vocal performances is Another One Bites the Dust, at the point where he builds his voice and then he comes out with like the shrieking Freddie Mercury voice near the end of the song, is like the toy at the bottom of a fucking Happy Meal. Like, everything about this was great. I got me a cheeseburger and some fries. I got me some apples. Oh, there's a fucking toy at the bottom of this box, too. And he just destroys it in that fucking... I love that. Freddie Mercury's voice is like... It's like butter.
God damn. Make it sound fucking amazing.
I know, I should have been in marketing.
Yeah.
But no, it is. Like, you listen, like I said, listen to the back half of that song when he starts wailing, and it is, I mean, it's a surprise. And Queen didn't do anything bad, in my opinion.
We're talking about music, and I don't know what made me think. Wrestling lyrics make no sense.
I like to pick 'em. I like to stick 'em.
Yeah,
Damn,
like,
that's the fucking...
like here. Okay, listen. Make some noise! Exclamation point. X-Pac! Exclamation point. You think you can tell us what to do? Yeah. You think you can tell us what to wear? Ha ha. Wear it down. Think you're better? Well, yeah. Well, you better get ready to bow to the masters.
Break it down.
Suck it! Exclamation point. Generate into something, fool. I just got tired of doing what you told me to do. But that's the breaks, boy, yeah. That's the breaks, little man. You tell him.
Break it down.
No, there's no break it down.
Oh, not in the X-Pac theme. Okay.
X-Pac putting more mind to... X-Pac putting more mind to it. Stop. Speak my mind. Keeps on rocking the bottom line. Suck it. 2 tears in a bucket. Yeah. Hate him to love it. I'm not the one you tried your luck with. Hit hard like brass knuckles. See your face through the turnbuckles, dude. Got no love for you. Make some noise. Degeneration X. Who's gonna kick your ass? Degeneration X. X-Pac. Who's gonna kick your ass? Degeneration X. Who's gonna kick your ass? Degeneration X. I'll tell ya.
I'll tell ya.
Built to destroy you and your boys. Mother, make some noise. That's even if you're paranoid. McGeasel that body, keep it rocking, and tell someone how it feels, and let you know the deal. I'm one of the illest that never have stepped. I demolish opponents and knock out the ref. X-Pac, I'm gonna kick your ass, X-Pac. Like, he just told himself he's gonna kick his ass. Be what I wanna be, but wanna be someone else. Put it away, like a book on a shelf you can read. That, yeah, you can read, boy. Suck it. Yeah, that's the damn breaks, little man. Ha ha ha. Suck it, Degeneration X. Into something, fool. I just got tired of doing what you told me to do, but that's the breaks, boy. Yeah, that's the breaks, little man. You tell him. X-Pac putting mind to it. Stops. Speak my mind. Keep on rocking the bottom line. Suck it. 2 tears in a bucket. Yeah, hate to love it. I'm not the one they tried their luck with. Hit hard like brass knuckles. See your face through the turnbuckle. I got no love for you, X-Pac. And it just keeps going. It's fucking horrible. That song makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Oh God. I am gonna isolate you. I am gonna isolate that track of you reading that like spoken word though, because that might replace Tootsie. You reading the lyrics to the X-Pac theme might replace Tootsie as our out.
I stumbled a little bit though.
So did he.
Suck it,
Even
suck it. Like, it really does that.
Even his fucking theme song had "Go Away."
That song makes no sense.
2 tears in a bucket.
Fuck, like, luck it.
I'm not the one you tried to ruck with.
Luck. Suck it. But no, verse 3 is really suck it.
Oh man.
But sorry, I didn't mean to step over your list.
Was yours over?
Yeah, it was about Mercury.
Okay. So now we come to my tops, and I have a couple honorable mentions myself. I had put Queen as an honorable mention, and I had put Dr. Dre as an honorable mention as a hip-hop artist and a producer. Another one, Kyle, this will be completely out of your wheelhouse, because I know you're not a big country fan. And I'm not a huge country fan either. I especially don't like modern country. I think country should sound like country. Like country should sound like honky-tonk music, you know? But somebody that's on my list, I think, Aaron, you might agree, fantastic vocalist, performer, country artist is Dwight Yoakam.
Yes.
Dwight
But he
Yoakam.
also falls in that same category that we talked about with Bob Dylan or Tom Petty, or even like a Tom Waits, you know, where the music's great and everything, but some people don't hear it because they can't get past
The voice.
I just can't stand his voice. It's like, well, listen to what he's saying, you know?
Yeah. And I love his voice.
do
He's one of my favorite country voices. Just like with modern country, I think that, and I'll get back to Dwight Yoakam, but I think that in modern country, the best modern country artist on the planet right now is Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish. Because I like his voice. Therefore, I like his songs.
Yeah.
But Dwight Yoakam is country music. He is country music the way that country music should be past 1985. Like, there isn't a lot of good country music past 1985 because it's not country, it's pop. Dwight Yoakam does country music the way country music should be presented, and I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
I talk about modern people. I like there's not a lot of modern country music. There's like two, but I like Eric Church. I like him. He's all right, and that's about it. But the person that ruined country music, like he killed and ruined country music, is Garth Brooks. When Garth Brooks showed up, he murdered, destroyed, and killed country music
because he made it poppy and mainstream.
Yeah, I don't want to see my fat ass country musician like flying through the air like he does at his concerts. Like, what are you doing? Fucking asshole.
Well,
your stupid shirts and yeah.
3 on my list was Cash.
Fuck Garth Brooks.
The actual 3.
Fuck Garth Brooks and fuck Chris Gaines.
I don't even know who Chris Gaines is.
He's Garth Brooks.
Oh.
Yeah, he created.
That's when he wanted to become like a rock star.
Oh, he made an alternate personality thing.
And he was like trying to like suck in his face. His fat, stupid face.
So I had Cash.
He also created one of the worst '90s trends ever, and it was like those double colored shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And
Yeah, the shirts that when line dancing country bars became a thing in the 90s, those were the shirts that everybody wore.
Yeah. It was fucking horrible.
So Johnny Cash was on my list. We already talked about him of the 3. He's in my top 3. The other one, okay, the next one on my list is, and I just got the privilege of driving my happy ass all the way to Louisville, Kentucky this week to see this band in concert, because seeing them in concert was on my bucket list, and that is Maynard James Keenan and Tool. I love their music.
I'm glad you were like, I love Tool.
Because I'm not a fucking idiot that's going to fall into that trap. But Tool is Tool is
my brother's on the other end of the microphone.
Tool is one of my favorite bands of all time. They're my second favorite band of all time, and I really don't know if either one of you is a big fan. I don't think we've ever discussed this band, the 3 of us.
I'm not a huge fan. They have a couple songs like, that I heard you listen to or whatever that I was like, that's not too bad. but I can't hate on anybody that likes Bill Hicks. So
Yeah. Their song, and Kyle, you might actually be more of a fan of Tool than Aaron is. And I don't know if you are or not.
There's that one song where he's like, Jesus wants his fucking whistle.
That's Sober.
Yeah, I like that song.
One of their songs.
How can you not like a song where the guy's like, Jesus wants his fucking whistle? Like, I don't even know what that means, but it's like, give it to him.
Their songs, to me, their song Schism is a masterpiece. It's a rock and roll masterpiece.
That sounds nasty.
Well, it's not. It's a masterpiece.
I'm just saying the name.
Schism.
Yeah, it sounds like something like they find on like SVU, and that's how they found the culprit. They traced it back from his schism. We got DNA from your schism, Charlie. We know what you did.
Well, if you get a chance to listen to the song, do yourself a favor and do it, because it's amazing.
Oh, I will, but I couldn't let that go.
So, Kyle, do you have anything else on that band named Tool?
No,
I'm not stepping in the fucking dick joke puddle here.
You know, step and schism. You got that all over you.
And then my favorite band of all time, and I want to say this because for those of you younger listeners that have probably tuned out because we're not talking about anything you listen to. But anyway, for those of you younger listeners that listen to this show, and there are a few of you, age is a weird thing. As you age, things about you change, opinions change. And Aaron knows this. There was a time in the 90s when I was a youth that I thought in my mind that Nirvana was my favorite band. And as time has gone on, as I have grown, as my tastes have changed, as my tastes have grown, and as I look back on things now, Nirvana is still one of my favorite bands, probably in my top 20, but they're not my favorite band. They're a bit overrated. They suffer from the fact that Kurt Cobain died very young. They didn't do it.
I'll never forget it. Because we got home from I don't even remember where we got home from, and Nate was like, man, they're playing a lot of Nirvana on MTV. And I looked at him, I was like, I bet that guy's dead. And, you know, I'm just a little fucker.
And I was all about Nirvana back then.
And Kyle, this might be hard to believe, but I've always been like a little antagonist.
No.
Yeah.
You?
So they're playing like all these Nirvana videos. Nate's like, yeah, a lot of Nirvana on MTV. I was like, that motherfucker's dead. And then Nate's like, no, he isn't. And then Kurt Loder comes on the TV all sad. He's like, Kurt Cobain has committed suicide. I'm like, I told you that motherfucker was dead. And then Nate was all upset the rest of the day.
It was devastating for
in this
fucking
room, just
it was
listening to Teen Spirit.
It was devastating for 16-year-old me.
Calling his buddy Bill on the landline. Like, can you believe what happened? Boop, boop. Oh, man. I think Grandma's calling. I gotta go.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
I gotta feed the rabbit anyway, Bill. I'll talk to you later, man.
I'm gonna put on a plaid shirt and cry.
For the first time ever, I understand Cure's music.
Okay.
Morrissey was right. Go ahead.
I will never dance again.
Go ahead.
Friday, I'm in love. But my favorite band of all time, my favorite musical artists of all time, now is most definitely Pearl Jam.
There ain't nothing wrong with Pearl Jam.
I
like Pearl Jam.
I really liked them back then, but as time has gone on, I appreciate their music much more now. And they've grown as a band as I've grown as a person, and Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam is my absolute, like, hands down, period. I don't think the opinion's ever gonna change again. They're my favorite band ever. So.
And you know what I like about them? They were like, you know what? You can only have so much money.
Right.
And like they were like, why do we need to deal with Ticketmaster? And Ticketmaster was like, how else do you expect to get your tickets out? And they're like, we're
Pearl Jam. Yeah, we're fucking Pearl Jam.
Out. You just get on pearljam.org or whatever, and we'll just send them to you.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were just like, go ahead and download our shit,
Mm-hmm.
And or like they'll just show up at a bar and just start a concert. And from what I've heard, obviously I've never been involved in it, but like they'll just show up somewhere and just start playing and shit. They don't take themselves all serious like fucking Metallica.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That might be, I know we're talking about the wrestling thing, like, unpopular opinion. Do you know what my opinion of Metallica is? Fucking hate them.
I don't hate their music.
I don't like their music. They have like 3 songs that I like. And other than that, it's like, get off the fucking stage.
I don't hate their music. I don't think that they are...
They're fucking Mick Foley, man.
They're definitely overrated.
They think they're way better than what they are. Fuck Metallica and Garth Brooks.
But back to Pearl Jam. I do though. The lyrics, the music. I mean, they have, and they're still my favorite band. And they have a couple of bummers too. Like, I really don't like the No Code album. It's kind of boring, and sometimes they do go off on that kind of a boring tangent. Like the music's all very slow, and you want it to pick up a little bit. But overall, to me, their body of work is amazing, and they are my favorite band of all time. And Yellow Ledbetter is one of the best songs of all time, even though I don't have a goddamn clue the lyrics of it. I just made up my own lyrics to it.
Yeah.
And
I'll read that one next week.
The lyrics to Yellow Ledbetter?
Yeah, I was going to say to pick another wrestling theme, and I'll read in a couple weeks or next show or whatever. If you want me to read Yellow
Red Bastine.
Yellow Red Bastine, I will.
Keep the wrestling theme going here. Yellow Red Bastine by Pearl Jam.
That's the Asian Red Bastine.
He was good friends with Gorilla Monsoon.
I like that old lady behind the counter.
Oh yeah, that song's fucking fantastic. Black is amazing too. Yeah. Black's an amazing song. Like, I don't know, Kyle, you're kind of getting drowned out here. Do you have an opinion on PJ?
Oh, I love fucking some Pearl Jam.
Me and my kids, when they were younger, and your children are a reflection of you people. My kids are 20 and 17, and they both know who fucking Eddie Vedder is, and they both know who Pearl Jam is because I raised them fucking right. But anyway, we used to have days, like, they thought it was fucking funny as hell. We used to have days when they were little where I'd be like, all right, it's Eddie Vedder Day, and we would all be around the house like, hey, Daddy, can I get a grilled cheese? And we just talk like Eddie Vedder for an hour. It was fucking fun. Like, you don't.
Yeah. What I really did that I didn't like was I don't know why, but that goddamn remake of Last Kiss, it's fucking horrible.
Oh, see, I love it.
I can't. I like the original. It might be because I like the Cavaliers or whatever's version of it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just cannot listen to that song.
I think Eddie Vedder's voice does it justice.
And it might be because, like, a girl I was dating at the time, like, loved it and played it all the time, and I'm like, oh my god, it's such a long time. I'm gonna leave you, and then she left me. Probably because I was just like, if you keep playing this goddamn song, I'm gonna leave you. And then she was like, you have anger issues. You're mad about a song.
And then you were like, oh, where could my baby be?
Like, I had this buddy that told this girl she listened to Barbie Girl all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know that song, I'm a Barbie Girl.
Yep.
In Barbie World. And he told her, he was like, if you pull up to my house one more time and you're playing that Barbie Girl song, I'm going to get in your car. I'm going to eject it out of your CD player. I'm going to snap it in half and I'm going to break up with you. Okay? And she pulled up to his... We were all on the porch, and she pulled up, and she was blaring that song. It's like, let's go Barbie, let's go party. And he went up, he ejected the CD, broke it in half, threw it in the street, and said, we're fucking done.
Well, at least he fucking lived up to his promise.
And we were all like, God damn, John. That is a true story. He's like, we were fucking done. The Frothingham. This shit happened that.
Fuck.
I think I've redeemed myself from my horrible performance at the beginning of the show.
So that's the pop culture edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. And before we wrap things up, let's go ahead and make the announcement. During our last break, I wrote down 5 random pay-per-views. Aaron picked a number 1 through 5.
And we will be watching AWA Super Clash 2.
The fuck we will. We will be watching Survivor Series 1988 on the next edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We'll talk about that pay-per-view. Do you guys want to know what you missed out on?
Sure.
In Your House 2.
Yeah.
Super Brawl 91. That's the one with Flair and Fujinami.
That's a good show.
ECW Heatwave 98. And then I was hoping, just for comedic purposes, that you would pick 5, because for number 5 I wrote...
94?
No, but it's available on YouTube. It's not a WWE network thing. I picked that Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view.
Oh, I would have taken the week off.
I need to take the week off. I'm taking the week off.
I'm watching that.
Oh, shit. But yeah, we will be watching Survivor Series 1988 on our next pay-per-view review. And
I have a feeling that this will be a lot of... we're going to have a lot of jokes about, like, you know, funny things the commentators say and everything. Because Survivor Series, I like it, but it can be kind of plotting. So.
Yeah, it can be kind of tedious the way the matches are structured.
Try to bring my humor game, y'all.
Well, on that note, Kyle, do you have anything else for our listeners this week?
Nope. You guys have a great week.
And hopefully you interact with Kyle's post on the Facebook group, which is already up there before we've even released the episode. So it's going to be fun. Aaron, anything else for the listeners?
Just if either one of you guys or anybody on the Facebook page think of a wrestling theme you would like me to read, I'll do that. That was more fun than I thought it was.
That, or if you ever have any ideas for maybe top 10s or anything you want us to do, go ahead. The last one we did, the underrated tag teams, one of our listeners, Mike Herrick, actually came up with that one. So we appreciate the feedback. We appreciate any support you give us. And thank you for being part of the We Can't Wrestle community.
You won't offend us with cash.
to quote Mr. Bobby Heenan, he can just throw it on the carpet. Nate's address is cash in an envelope ain't gonna offend me. You don't need to write a check.
Right.
My wife works at a bank. We can work this out.
Route number and everything.
Right? Western Union, motherfucker. Anyway. That being said, let me start Tootsie, since you guys don't have anything else, and we'll get on with the goodbyes here. You want to hear Tootsie? Hold on. Kyle, say goodbye to your fans.
Bye, fans.
You should have said it like death metal, like, goodbye.
He did that last week with his microphone. Yeah.
Aaron, don't be a dick. Say goodbye to your fans.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good time.
Have a good day.
I never loved you. Bye.
And I will say goodbye to you listeners of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We appreciate your support. Join the Facebook group if you're not already there. Join the conversation. And listen to the Motley Soup podcast. I forgot to mention that, and it's actually probably part of my marriage agreement. So listen to the Motley Soup podcast as well. Hit that up. Other than that, thank you for joining us on this week's edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We'll see you next time around with our review of Survivor Series 1988 and more than likely a lot more bullshit. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.